I mean, I was hoping that Greg's answer would be, oh, go buy a 14 to 24 millimeter lens. That's exactly what makes your pictures awesome.
Yeah. Can't spend this problem away.
Okay.
Can't buy it away.
I've got the 3 tips I want to give everybody about photography. This is tip number 1, change your point of view. One of the keys to creating engaging images is to show your subject in unusual and exciting ways that people who are not engaged in looking, but only seeing, would not notice. For example, get down on the ground. This photograph is by Tom Hart. This is the Festival of San Lorenzo, in which the people actually walk on hands and knees, or they crawl on their belly to the church along this pavement. Instead of standing above this man, Tom dropped down to the ground, probably, if I don't miss my guess, on his belly.
You're like even with the foot, so he looks like he's like literally flat on the street.
Exactly. Alan Hans, again, not photographing eye level of this man, but actually dropping down to the level of the counter and tilting his camera up to get this angle. Changing your point of view. And one last one by Fritz Fennevissen. I don't think it was in Cuba, but it's an exceptional example of changing your point of view. The other side of this is to stand on a park bench or retaining wall, or find a rooftop to get above your subject, as in these images. This is taken from a rooftop at sunset in Cienfuegos. And here's one in Casablanca by photographer Mel Cohen looking down. One by John Sarsgaard poking his head out the window of his Casa Particular. If you're up somewhere, just go look. Always be looking. Or, last thing on this, find an interesting angle, like this one by Ilya Kovarik. This is a boat he's in. He's leaning out the window to take this photo. He's looking. He's not just seeing. That is changing your point of view. He could have been inside the ferry and taking the picture of this gentleman, but instead he looked outside. That's literally outside the box. That was a pun there, I think, but not quite. Tip number 2, get closer, and then get even closer. This is one way to create dynamic images. Scottish photographer Les McLean used to say he liked to get close enough to photograph his subject's nose hairs. And this is exactly what Mel Cohen has done here. These were all taken in Cuba, and these are all Mel's photos. Now, some of this is cropped, you can see that, that's post-processing, but that doesn't matter. He saw it, his photo was sharp enough that he could crop it. Sheena Andrews, who got down low to get this photograph. Tip number 3 is focus on the eyes. While you're getting close, focus on the eyes. A photograph will almost always succeed at some level, no matter how bad it is, if at least one person in the image has their eyes in sharp focus. The gentleman in front, his eyes are in sharp focus, the one on the right. The one on the left is in acceptable focus, but not quite sharp. This photograph is by Hal Jacobs. This photograph is by Verona. This photograph is by Mary Ann Longshore. This one is by Rosemary. And the final photograph of this presentation is by Pilar Hartman. Focus on the eyes.